Hello and welcome to my S3 Geography Highland Landscape assignment on the scenic area of Kintail. Thank you for watching and I hope you find it interesting. Let's introduce you to the area. Kintail is located in the Northwest Highlands near the Isle of Skye. It is an area of outstanding natural beauty and peaceful tranquility, except for maybe when it caught fire. Much of it is now looked after by the National Trust for Scotland. Kintail has several ranges of mountains, including the Five Sisters and the South Shiel Ridge. These are interspersed with many glens which were transformed during the Ice Age. They now contain many braes, burns and rivers which drain rainfall from the mountains down into Loch Duich and Loch Long. Being on the west coast and at the end of the North Atlantic Drift, the climate is milder and wetter than the east coast. Kintail itself surrounds the end of Loch Duich, a deep-sea loch which, although tidal, contains a high percentage of fresh water due to the runoff. Anyway, back to the landscape. Let's take GlenShiel as an example. This glen may have streams running through it, but these are misfit streams. They didn't create the valley, they're just positioned in it. This valley is a U-shaped valley, and it was created by glaciers. Before the Ice Age, this would be a regular V-shaped valley carved by a river, but during the Ice Age, it filled with snow. The snow then compressed into ice to form a glacier. As the glacier pulled down the valley by gravity, it eroded the valley floor and sides using two methods. The first of these is plucking. Plucking is where chunks of rock are pulled out of the valley floor by the moving glacier, leaving it rough and jagged. The second method, abrasion, is where rocks carried by the glacier scrape the valley floor, smoothing it. When the ice recedes, the valley is left twice its original depth, with steep sides and a flatter floor, as you can see on this Ordnance Survey map. The excess rock is deposited on the valley floor. Sometimes a smaller glacier will travel into the main glacial lode, creating a hanging valley. There will sometimes be a waterfall coming out of a hanging valley, as you can see with the Falls of Glomach. The next landscape features I'm going to look at are corries, aka khors, cirques or cwms. Here is Loch Aglascoy, an example of a corrie in Kintail. It was also formed by glaciers. During the Ice Age, a glacier builds up in the hollow on the north side of a rounded mountain. As gravity pulls a glacier downhill and it rotates, it erodes the ground with plucking and abrasion, making the hollow deeper. As the hollow deepens, the erosion quickens as the mountain shades the glacier from the sunlight. The backwall becomes steeper from freeze-fall weathering, which is a process where water filtering into rock cracks freezes and pushes the rock apart, then filters further into the crack and freezes again until a chunk of the rock breaks off. This creates scree slopes on the back wall. Eventually the glacier breaks away from the back wall and the excess rock is dumped on the end to form a lip. When the ice recedes, a corrie is then left in the mountainside. This corrie has been filled with water, so it contains a tarn. In the case of two corries backing up against each other, they create a steep ridge called an arete. When three or more corries back up against each other, they form a pyramidal peak. This can be seen with Sgurhuron. As you can see on the map, it has three corries back to back, each with an annoyingly complex Gaelic pronunciation. Overall, Kintail is a big geological attraction, providing stunning views, amazing wildlife, and fantastic walks, which means tourism. Tourists come up to the Highlands and visit the natural beauty with their large, slow caravans and motorhomes. Often they stop on the side of the road, on the white lines, on the bends, or on the causeway to take pictures of every cow, goat, or llama they see. This can disrupt both the patience and punctuality of the local people. But tourists aren't entirely bad. They provide substantial employment and boost the local economy. But what activities or land uses are available for tourists in Kintail? After talking with local ranger Willie Fraser, I discovered much about tourism in the local area. It turns out that most tourists hardly ever leave their cars and just move on to Skye, occasionally stopping to buy fuel, take pictures, or throw up on the side of the road. Kintail is renowned for its mountain hiking and is popular with Munro baggers because of the number of peaks over 3,000 feet. There are 10 Munros in the South Shiel Ridge and the Five Sisters alone. However, most tourists who stay prefer gentler activities such as camping, caravanning, dog walking, and sightseeing. The National Trust offers guided walks on both highland and lowland. Numbers are difficult to determine as no charge is made for access, but in the past few years the Trust has experimented with pressure pads and laser beams on several paths to record walkers. In a year, 10,000 tourists participate in lowland walking and approximately 1,000 on the highland paths. There are many places for visitors to stay, including the campsite at Morvik, which has 115 caravan spaces and hosts around 30,000 visitors per year. Other places to stay include Ratigan Youth Hostel, which has around 6,000 guests per year, Altbeef Youth Hostel, with 1,000 per year, and Cannock Youth Hostel, with 4,000 per year. There are also B&Bs scattered around the local area, the Kintail Lodge, the Cluny Inn, and many holiday homes. Because of the mostly unsuitable landscape for it in Kintail, climbing is not a popular activity. Other activities available include mountain biking, deer stalking, fishing, sea kayaking, and pony and llama trekking. Tourists who come for sightseeing can visit historical sites such as Clackanduich, the site of the Battle of GlenShiel, the Standing Stones, Roundhouse ruins, and honeypots such as the Falls of Glomach and Elandonnan Castle. The local people mostly gain from tourism, but there are certain problems that have arisen for the area. The first of these is footpath erosion, which both weather and tourists contribute to. Hill walkers coming down the mountainside will often erode their own paths. These paths become drained for rainwater, which make the paths wet and muddy. This will cause tourists to walk around them, making the drains wider. In the past, there have been problems with littering, with campers leaving cheap camping equipment behind because they can't be bothered to carry it away, and vandalism of bothies and fences for fire. Local people can struggle to find reasonably priced homes, especially in places like Letterfern, because of people buying holiday homes. These homes are often empty in winter, and tourists don't send their children to the local school, making it harder for schools to stay open. Tourists also disrupt other tourist activities. For example, hill walkers can scare away deer that deerstalkers are trying to hunt. Particular sufferers of visitor disruption are members of the National Trust, who along with the council have to pick up litter. But the Trust is determined to make sure that endangered local wildlife doesn't suffer from this disruption, mainly by keeping its location secret. The biggest danger to wildlife is fires, which are more the locals' fault than the tourists', but that's a story for another day. Measures are being taken to prevent problems from tourists, such as improving old hillside paths, without creating new ones to limit footpath erosion. The National Trust has invested £300,000 to £400,000 in footpath repair and development already. Littering is being combated with the use of bins and laybys. Rangers are giving important education in schools and centres to locals and tourists on how to respect the Scottish Outdoor Access Code. They also publish the information on their website. The Trust runs thistle camps, which encourage people to come and help conserve the natural landscape, with repairing dry stone walls, diking, tree planting, and bracken pulling. Overall, there has been a reduction in these problems, so the solutions are working well. I think that the conservation of scenic areas such as Kintail is important for the future of Scotland, and it is something that all of us should contribute to, no matter if you're a local or a tourist. Thank you for watching.